Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Sector for Nerds. I'm Ryan Brower, and today I'm here to talk to you guys about The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2, or also known as Chapter 10. To start out, let me say this. This episode wasn't as good as the last episode, however, it was still good. This episode had me hanging on the edge of my seat, especially when those spiders showed up, because whenever there's anything to do with insects or insects that look like they're on steroids, I get freaked out. I don't know if these were the exact same spiders that were in Star Wars Rebels, however, they did look very similar. There were a lot of callbacks to different things in this episode, like, for example, Idiot's Array was a thing that they mentioned at the beginning of the episode. That's a term in the game called Zabak, where Idiot's Array basically cancels out Zabak. Zabak being the best hand that you can play. We saw Lando use that against Zeb in Star Wars Rebels. We had several references to the episode in Season 1 called The Prisoner, which is where the Mandalorian and those bounty hunters infiltrate a New Republic ship to free the one guy, and then you guys know the rest of the story. I didn't realize that the Mandalorian still had that droid. And then there was also reference to the rebel trooper that was played by Matt Lanner that ended up dying in the last season. And then probably the best callback of all, they had Dave Filoni back in that Rebel X-Wing. You just can't help yourself, can you, Dave? I did like how Baby Yoda got a little bit more of a shine in this episode. I mean, he was just sneaking around eating the eggs or whatever those were, right? And then I laughed hard at the end when he tried to reach for more, and then the woman was like, nope, and then he had one in his hand. I'm like, okay, you little shit. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in this season we hear Baby Yoda's first words. Another thing I really enjoyed was that fight scene at the beginning of the episode where the Mandalorian's like, okay, I surrender or whatever, and then he gives him the jetpack, and then as he walks away with the jetpack, the Mandalorian just activates it from his wrist comm, and then he gets it to land right next to him. I thought that was pretty good. So yeah, overall, it was a good episode. Again, not as good as the last episode, but by no stretch does that make this one a bad episode. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people upset that we didn't get any Boba in this episode. I figured that once the Mandalorian left the planet that we weren't going to get him in this episode. So my guess is they're either going to bring him back at the end of the season or they're waiting until season 3. We still haven't gotten any Cara Dune, Grief Karga, or Moff Gideon, characters from the last season, but I think we will get to them eventually. And it's not like it's a huge deal that they're not in the episodes, especially since the episodes have, so far, in my opinion, have been good. I think if the episodes were bad, then maybe I'd be saying a different story, but yeah, I'm totally willing to wait for whenever, for these guys to come back, and when they do come back, I will be excited. So here's my prediction for the start of the third episode, considering the way that this one ended, right? So they were in space and it looked like the engines were going bad. My guess is, remember that opening shot from the Season 2 trailer where the Razor Crest is just floating through space? I feel like that's going to be the opening shot of the third episode. And speaking of things that were in the trailer, I guarantee you a lot of people were definitely fooled, and I'll admit I was one of them, into thinking that the planet that the Mandalorian was on, where there was snow and everything, was Ilum, or I even speculated Hoth as well. But we were all wrong, and I'll tell you guys what, if you guys didn't enjoy the episode for that reason, that it wasn't Ilum or it wasn't Hoth, then I guess what I'd have to tell you is then, like, don't set expectations to stuff that you predict, because sometimes then you end up, when you set your expectations too high or you come up with your own fan theories, then you're disappointed by when they don't come true. I'm not saying don't speculate, because obviously, like, everyone speculates, it's cool, right? But when something that you speculate goes wrong, then don't be disappointed by it, because at the end of the day, we had a good episode with a good story and a decent amount of action, even though this episode almost gave me a heart attack with all these spiders. I tell you what, every time those giant spiders show up in Star Wars, whether it be Star Wars Rebels, Jedi Fallen Order, or The Mandalorian, like, they freak me out every freaking time. I don't like giant insects. Alright, I think I've said everything that I wanted to say about this episode, so I'm gonna wrap this up here, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share this video around as it really helps support the channel. Also, I'm doing a giveaway for Star Wars Squadrons. Check the description of this video to learn more, and I will see you guys next time. This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.